Hey guys, thanks for joining me on another video here today. Beautiful day outside in Arizona, and I figured let me get out, take a quick video, and talk about probably the #1 question that I hear get asked the most on like all the forums and the Facebook pages and just in general, is can I run 32's on my Maverick Sport? So we're going to talk about that here today. We'll go over what I'm running, if I have any issues, and hopefully by the end of this video you'll have your answer. So stay tuned. All right, so as you can see, I have my Maverick Sport here. It's the Max model, but this goes for the 2-seater or the 4-seater. This should answer your questions for either. So I am running 32-inch Tusk Terabytes. They are 32 by 10 on a 14-inch rim. The rim is a Tusk Cascade wheel, 14 by 7 with a 4.3 offset. So if any of you don't understand what that offset is, it is a little bit confusing. But basically, when you have a 4.3 offset, you have 3 inches from the hub here to the outside edge of the wheel, and you have 4 inches depth from the inside edge of the wheel to the inside of the hub. So if you have a 5.2 offset, you're going to have 5 inches on the inside and 2 inches on the outside. So that's going to bring the wheel in another inch than what a 4.3 offset would be. With this particular offset, the 4.3, I am about 63 inches wide. So stock, you know, these machines, they say they're 60-inch wide machines. With the way I had my suspension set up, you know, it depends on how much preload you put in them. So people don't realize that when you put preload on these machines, preload meaning how much you crank the springs down, you will basically, your A-arms, when they drop, you're losing a little bit of track width because it sucks it in a little bit. Okay, so if you have a lot of preload, you're going to be a little less wide than you would be if you had less preload. But out of the box, they're supposed to be about 60 inches. I got mine home, set the ground clearance at about 12.5 inches, and I was running with stock wheels and tires about 59 inches wide, front and rear. So with these, I'm at about 63 inches wide, front and rear. So as you can see, it's got a pretty good stance. It's not too wide. It's still under that and within that 64-inch sweet spot, which preferably, I wish these machines came in the 64-inch option. I would have purchased that right away, but they only come in a 60-inch wide machine. So with a little bit more offset, a wheel, you get the 63 to 64 inches you're looking for. You gain that stability. Obviously you don't get the suspension travel, but for the depends on the riding you do, you don't really need a 12.5, 13 inches. That comes on this pretty good. So at 63 inches wide now, with this 4.3 offset, I have 0 rubbing. I know this gets asked a ton, and some people just don't believe it, so they keep asking, but the proof is right here. So I've been running these tires and wheels for about 800 miles now, and as you can see on the plastics, there are 0 rub marks. Nothing nothing at all. Even I've run without the front sway bar, and that gives the front suspension, you know, way more articulation than you would with the sway bar on. And if I was going to rub, I would have rubbed then. And I do not drive this machine cautiously. I go over any obstacle that I feel I can, and you know, I don't baby it. So I drive it hard. I've hit plenty of big G outs and rock crawling and all kinds of stuff, and I've never once rubbed. The machine handles 1,000,000 times better with the width it is now. So handling aside, that's spectacular with the extra width, in my opinion, if you're going to run a 4.3. If you want to keep stock width, you got a 6.1 offset. Shouldn't have much issue running a 6.1. 5.2 I know is safe. There's plenty of guys running 5.2 offsets. 6.1 offset's going to keep you pretty close to stock. So it's like I showed you before, you're going to have 6 inches on the inside of the wheel and only 1 inch to the outside of the wheel. So that's going to bring your wheel and tires in 2 more inches than what I have here. So that would keep you at about a stock width. So if I had a 6.1 offset, I'd still be at about 59 to 60 inches track width. So if that's what you're looking for, then stick with a 6.1 offset. They're a little hard to find. Most companies make a 5.2 or a 4.3. The 6.1's hard to find, but there are a few companies out there that make them. So get those if that's what you're looking for to keep the stock width. I was looking to get a little wider for the extra stability. With the longer machine, I felt it needed to be a little wider, and I was definitely pleased with the extra width and the stability gained by it. So I'm super happy with the way the machine rides and handles now. These tires have been phenomenal. I run them at about 10 to 12 psi. That's good for almost everything. I run in, hard pack. Within the same ride, I can go from hard pack to loose sand to super sharp, like shale type rock and boulders, all kinds of stuff you come across on the trails down here in southern Arizona. So the terrain changes pretty quickly, and running them at about, I would say closer to 12 usually, it handles everything without an issue, no hiccups. So handling aside, the next biggest question is, besides do they rub, is, well, what kind of power are you going to have on the machine? With 32's, with stock clutching and all that, does it perform okay? I would have to say, when I first put the 32's on, I was a little bit nervous that, man, I made a mistake, because to be honest with you, it did take away some of the power, more notably mid-range, I would say. Surprisingly, I thought it would be more off the line you would notice it the most, but it was more the mid RPM range that I really felt like the machine was struggling as to where it wanted to be in the RPM range. That's largely due to the clutching configuration. Obviously, it should have a clutch kit in it with that much bigger of a tire. Stock tires at 28 inches, 27 inches, I'm sorry. And you go into a 32, that's a 5-inch difference. Going to 30s probably be nothing, but 32s, they are a little bigger, much bigger diameter. Probably should do a clutch kit. And with that being said, I put the DynoJet tuner on mine, and that really gave it a kick in the pants in power wise, and especially in the mid-range where it was lacking. Even factory, I think mid-range could use a little bit more, the way they tune these things from the factory, and DynoJet really helped that. We'll do another video on that if you guys want me to go in more depth about it. But the 32's do rob some power, so do be aware of that. If you're looking to keep your machine stock and you don't want to tune it and you don't want to clutch it, you don't want to do any of that, but you just want a little bit bigger tire than those stock tiny 27s, you can just go up to a 28. I mean, I did that on my Razor years ago. They came stock with 27s. I put 28s on it, and it was good. But if you want to gain a little bit of ground clearance, you don't want to do anything, I would say stick with 30s. Just being honest here. I knew I was going to do more to the machine, and I was okay in the beginning. If I lost a little power, knowing that with the additional add-ons I had coming, I would probably gain that back, and I would do what I needed to do to get the power back and to where I wanted it to be. Right now, the machine performs a little bit better than factory even. I do plan on doing a clutching kit, so that will really pick up the pace on the acceleration and the mid-range. Once I do that, I'm hoping. I don't see any reason why not. But just wanted to get on here real quick, talk about it. These questions are asked a ton on the Facebook pages, on the forums, all kinds of social media. What size tires do you run? How do the 32's handle? So I figured let me do a quick video, talk about it. Like I said, these tires perform great. 32's perform great if you're prepared to do the things necessary to get the power back. If you don't mind the loss in power and you're just putting down the trail and you don't need that torquey mid-range punch for hill climbing and what have you, then don't worry about it. If you know, but if you really, you know, use the machine at its full potential and you want all that power on tap, I will say the 32s are going to sap some of the power from it, and you know, that's to be expected. If you're expecting to put a 5-inch bigger tire on your machine and it's going to be just as fast as it was stock, well, that's not realistic, right? So that should be expected. But you know, so like I said, runs great, zero rubbing at full articulation, nothing. Even in the rear here, you can see there's plenty of clearance. Actually, in the rear, you could probably run a much bigger tire even than the 32. The front, I would say 32s are pretty much as close as I would cut it. What I'll do here is I'll start it up really quick, turn the wheel, and then show you guys how close we get to the inner fender. Okay, all right, so we're at full lock. As you can see, there are a couple inches still here. I got close to 3 fingers. I don't have huge hands, but that's just about 3 fingers width. You can see the room I have there. So even with the wheel tucked up into the wheel well here, there is nothing in terms of rubbing. It's never rubbed there. That corner right there would be the spot where it rubbed, and it's like there's nothing there. There's not a single mark. I've never rubbed once on this machine since these tires have been put on. So it's been great. That's, like I said, full lock to the left. So let me show you the other side. You can see the difference. Obviously you're not gonna have a problem in the front. The nose of these machines are narrow, so no issues with the control arms, the shocks, nothing. So 32s run fit well. They fit perfectly, actually. It's just that you are going to lose a little power. So if you're all right with that, throw them on. If you're not okay with that, and you're not okay with having to do additional work to the machine to get the power back, then I would say go with 30s, and you'll probably be fine. As you know, the XRC model and the XMR model, they come with 30s. So the clutching isn't too different on these machines from one to the next. So you can run 30s on this, no problem. With the 32s, you do need to do a little something to get the power back. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna add a link here at the end of this video for a couple of other videos I got that you may like. Want of a full walk around of the machine. If there's anything else particularly you want me to talk about, want me to do a video on, you know, feel free to ask in the comments below. Please like and subscribe to the videos. That really helps me out a lot, trying to grow the channel a little bit. It's only got, this is my 4th video now up on YouTube, so it seems like you guys are enjoying them. So as long as you're enjoying them, I'll keep putting them out. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Those of you those of you haven't, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Have a great weekend and ride safe.